In this lecture, I'd like to cover a case that I faced in pretty much 50% of the websites that I do penetration testing on. So let me first just run an exploit, the one that we've already seen. So we're just going to run this statement, which will select the table name from information schema.tables. So this should list all the tables that exist within our page. And I have my security set to low at the moment. So I'm just going to paste that here, remove this extra one and hit enter. And as you can see, it gets exploited and it shows us the table name here instead of number 1. So we see all the table names that exist within this current database. Now, the case that I'd like to cover is when you actually run this statement, so the website will be vulnerable, and when you run the statement, you will only see one result at a time. And that's because the page is programmed in a way to display only one result at a time. To do this, we're actually going to need to modify the code for the low security level for DVWA. We'll do that now, and then we'll come back to exploit it. So I'm actually just going to modify the code for DVWA. This is not part of the exploitation. This is just to make this exploit a little bit trickier. So I'm at Metasploitable now, and I'm going to open the low security level of the SQL injection file. So I'm going to use sudo because the file has root permissions. And I'm going to use Nano as the text editor. So this is the program that we'll use to modify the file. And the file is stored in var www dvwa vulnerabilities SQL injection source and then low.php. So again, I'm just going to go through this command. So what we're doing is we're saying sudo to run the file in root privileges. Nano is the program that we're going to open the file with. And then the file is stored in var www dvwa vulnerabilities sqli source low.php. I'm going to hit enter. And it's asking me for the admin password. Now the root password is msfadmin, exactly like the username. And we have the source here for the file. So what I'm going to modify here, I'm actually going to modify this loop. So what this loop does, it actually loops through all the characters, all the records that this SQL statement gets right here, and then it displays them on screen. So what we want is we want to modify it to only display one result, the first result. So I'm just going to comment this line, 2// add a comment. So basically this line will be ignored. And I'll also comment this line because it closes the while loop. So this line will be ignored as well. Now, you don't really need to worry about what this means. If you're not a programmer, it's not very important. Just comment these lines and we'll see what happens at the client side. Because what we're interested in this lecture is not the programming. We're interested into the penetration testing. So I'm just going to hit Control-X to save this. I'm going to hit Y and enter. And that'll quit and save the file. So we're back here. And I'm going to run exactly the same statement, so I'm not going to modify it. So I'm still saying union select table name from information schema.tables. I'm actually going to refresh the page. And as you can see now, this is not really working, or is it working? But it's only showing us the first record that's been selected, which is the admin record. So this is not even useful. So the first thing that I'm going to do is, this is bringing us the admin record because the admin has the ID of number 1. So what we're going to do now is we're actually just going to give it an invalid ID. So I'm going to give it a -1. And as you can see now, the statement works. We're getting a table that exists in the information schema.tables, but we're only getting one table at a time. We're not getting the full list of the tables. And this is because the page is programmed in a way that will only display one result. And this happened to me a lot of times when I'm doing penetration testing. So keep in mind that we can run any SQL statement that we want on the server. So we can modify our SQL statement to iterate over all the records and display their content. So what we're going to do is now obviously you can use the where statement to only show database tables within your current database, but at the moment I want to show you how to iterate over all the tables. So what we're going to do instead is use the limit keyword to specify which record we want to display with the current statement. This way we'll be able to iterate over the records one by one and display all of them. So the statement is going to be union select table name from information schema.tables, and we're going to say I want to limit, and the limit keyword takes two values. The first value is the location of the record that we want to start displaying records from. So where we want to start displaying records. So I want to start displaying records from the first record. So I'm going to put 0 because the record numbers start at 0. And the second value that the limit keyword takes is the number of records that we want to display on screen, starting at the value that we specified in here. Now we know that this page right here can only show me one record at a time. So the second value to the limit keyword can only be 1 in this case. So basically what we're saying is we want to select the table name from the information schema.tables, and I only want you to display one record starting from record 0. So if I copy this and paste it here, you'll see I'll get the first table right now. And then if I want to go to the second table, all I have to do is modify this. So like I said, this value, the first value in here, means I want to start at record 0. So if I want to start at record 1, I'm just going to put 1. And then I can copy this and paste it up in here again. And as you can see, we got the next table. Now again, if I want to get the table after this, all I have to do is modify this and set it to 2, and that means that I want to start displaying from record 2, and I only want to start to display one record. Again, if I hit enter, as you can see, I'm getting the next table, and I can keep doing this to iterate over all the records manually. Now we can also enhance this statement by using the where clause. So before the limit, we can say I want to select table name from information schema.tables, where table schema is equal to dvwa. And now if we paste this in here, as you can see, this is showing me the users. And again, I can iterate over the tables by changing the number here. So this is displaying the record at offset 1. I can set this to 0 to display the first record. And as you can see, the first table or the first record is guestbook. And that's it. So just a quick and nice lecture to show you how to bypass this problem if you face it in pages that would only display one value or one record for you at a time.